How to start. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, welcome. That's a live demonstration what can go wrong when you're talking about technology with technology, okay? We can do this, even without the technology. We used to do it, we're old guys, we used to operate. I keep saying to people, I got my first mobile phone when I was 30 years old. And my students are saying, how do you survive for 30 years with no mobile phone? We could do this, okay. Business transformation, smart tourism, AI, and Metaverse. We're going to fly around the world for about an hour. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. I only have got 350 slides there, so take it easy. But hopefully it will be fun and you're going to have a little bit of interesting things. Now, many of my colleagues and friends are dealing with sustainability. It's easy, right? They always say reduce energy, carbon, and all the rest of it. I'm dealing with technology, so I don't sleep. Then you've got the director here who says, I know a nice place, and then you don't sleep because of that either. At all, so never mind. Smile for hearing it. Right?
We wanted to test you.
Yeah, I know. It has happened before, you know. What can Buhalis do and not do, right? So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dimitrios Buhalis, and I've done the Encyclopedia of Tourism Management and Marketing. Your role is to buy it. Okay, that is the thing. It's 4 volumes. It's 2 million words plus 1,250 entries, 1,500 contributors. This was my COVID project, so I spent an awful lot of time doing it and has got most of the knowledge. It's got most of the knowledge on tourism management and marketing. Okay. Other books that you can buy, Smart Cities and Tourism, Sharing Economy in the Tourism Industry. The reason why we're doing the books is for you to buy them. Thank you very much. That's the end of marketing and the gamification. Now, the other thing I'm going to promote is the Mediterranean conference we're doing in Malta, 21st and 22nd of November 2023, because Mediterranean tourism is very specific and we need to talk about those things. We're more than happy to take people from Finland, from the Baltic countries, to talk about Mediterranean challenges. You can see that and educate yourselves and also educate your students afterwards. The more the merrier. Please come along to Malta as well. Now, when we're doing for tourism destination strategies, I came to Cyprus on Sunday because quite often I'm coming around here and talk to industry or talk to the ministry or talk to different people about what we're doing in terms of tourism. What you find is that a lot of people are doing tourism, but they don't necessarily understand what tourism is all about. And quite often they are all confused in the operation, they're doing all kinds of things, but actually they are not very effective. So I like to start with the basics, and the basics is to have a successful tourism destination. You need to have competitive strategies that they make the destination different, unique, sustainable. And to do that, you enhance the reputation and maintain the destination image. And then what you're trying to do is nurture business models, because unless you've got the destination is not going to operate, and you need to absolutely manage your resources, resource optimization. Everybody keeps telling me about sustainability, but everybody thinks that someone else is going to do it. We talk about sustainability, we keep drinking water like this in plastic bottles, right? We put the air conditioner on so we can wear our jackets. Please take your jackets off, reduce the air conditioning. We save a little bit of energy, right? Okay. That's my end of sustainability course.
I will still wear my jacket even if you close.
I know.
I will hide the water now.
Well, for the record, I have a jacket there, but I don't wear it for sustainability purposes. Okay. So this is going back from this publication in 2000. I'm going to say an awful lot of things, but the blue things are the publication, so take a picture so you can read. This is the most cited publication in tourism, by the way. It's basically my master's dissertation, and we published in 2000. Now, when people are going to different destinations, they kind of are buying this. And they try to picture themselves in there. This is 3 weeks ago in Santorini, but we're doing all kinds of different things. For those of you, who is from Cyprus here? Last time I was here, 2019, Savas was just about announced minister, and we were the first conference that he came to open. So people are traveling for different reasons. So when I'm talking about traveling, quite often people are thinking about leisure travel. But also there's a lot of business travel, there's all kinds of things that people are traveling for conferences, for training. This is Saudi Arabia. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm working on a project right now with Saudi Arabia and the Ministry of Tourism. And people are doing for leisure. Now, a little bit going back to the differentiation, I said. When I come back to Greece, and you'll see the Kalamata thing here, I like to do some Greek things. This is called arakas. For those of you who just discovered veganism, vegetarian, and all the rest of it, this was my Wednesday food. My mom will cook arakas. Wednesday and Friday, it's a little bit of lentil in the Greek tradition, the Orthodox Church, so you don't eat meat and stuff. So we were vegetarian. We didn't know it, and we didn't shout about it. And this is in W. The big icon of the Greek gastronomy is frappe, or now if you're a little bit more sophisticated, Freddo Espresso or Freddo Cappuccino. Please try it around. I'm exporting these images, part of the differentiation. And this is Kalamata. This is the Buhalis Palace, built the father of my grandmother in Thuria. And this is the modern advertisement of Greece. It's about eating, what do you call it? Pricking pears, fragosika. Please don't do it, they're stupid to promote it. I thought I knew how to do it because I've done it for many, many years when I was young. So I stopped, this is mine actually, I own this tree. So I stopped by and I was doing it. I suffered for 3 months. Please don't do it. A lot of people are traveling for all kinds of purposes. Tourism is very important for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, all the 17 of them. Even the WTO has not discovered that. They keep talking about 4 of them. There's not a single one that is not supported. And we've discovered it during COVID. Because during COVID, when nothing happened, people start realizing how important tourism is. Now, tourism had 40 years of growth. There's no other industry that had 40 years of growth. It stopped only in 2 stages when we had SARS in Asia, but that was much more, it was very localized kind of event. It was minus 4%. And then in 2009, it was minus 4%. But 40 years of growth like that. COVID happens, bingo, minus 74, and everybody was suffering, right? So this is really important in the sense that now we realize how important tourism is. And the minute you can escape, I have never seen so many desperate people to travel, ever. The minute I got my second injection, I was traveling. And I went to Naxos. I went to many different places in Greece, but I went to Naxos. Why did I go to Naxos? Because the mayor invited me basically, and he's been inviting, he's a nice guy, and he's a friend. But more importantly, I had to go and pay respect to God Apollo. Spot the Portara. So that was the end of the encyclopedia. So that's where we finished the encyclopedia, because this is Naxos. You can tell the world, it's not a secret, but it's all cultural heritage, it's sunset, it's sustainability, it's experience, the whole lot. For those of you who follow me on social media, you remember that there were 2 images that were voting. I've got to tell you a little secret to everybody in the world. I had decided that this would be, but the voting confirmed it. Okay, now we're kind of recovering from COVID. Slowly. In Europe, we've more or less recovered. Asia is having more problems, partly because of China just opened, but we're getting there. The synthesis of the encyclopedia is the pyramid. Basically, you know that from Neapolis, the tourism system. And what I've added on the first book that Chris Cooper edited, and with the first edition of the Tourism Principles and Practices, Cooper, Fletcher, and so on, I added these two bits, which is the resource, it's the input to that system, and that may be ecological resources, capital, human resources, expertise, all kinds of things. And this is the output, what we call now value, okay, for the different stakeholders. So this came out when I was finishing my PhD, so it was 96, 97, on the first edition of Tourism Principles and Practices, and we said it needs to be equitable returns for resources utilized. So no matter what resources you are putting in, money, people, you need to get outputs out of this. Okay, this is fundamental. The encyclopedia brought the pyramid as well, where the tourism system is coming and balanced on the top. Here you've got planning, management and strategy. Here you've got market forces and what's happening in the marketplace. Here you've got exogenous variables like COVID, like wars, like oil prices, all of those different things that are determining what we're doing. And here it's got technology. Now a lot of people are asking me, can you come and help us fix the technology? And they think that, whoever is understanding technology can actually do some magic and fix everything in the world. Unless you've got all of these things operating, technology cannot do anything. But without technology, none of this operates. So this is my infrastructure for dealing with tourism. This is infrastructure. So it's really, really important. We'll focus on this. But I thought unless you've got all this background, it's a little bit pointless to talk about Metaverse, right? If you don't put it in the right place. Because, or robots or whatever. Because you really, you do not concentrate on artificial intelligence, Metaverse or robots. You concentrate how these will operate. That's why my life is incredibly complicated, because I need to understand distribution, transportation, accessibility, all of those things in the system. I need then to understand what resources I'm putting in, what outputs and value I would like to create, and how all these factors are coordinated. Some people are talking about over-tourism. Please do not talk about over-tourism. My blood pressure goes up. There's no such a thing as over-tourism. It's badly managed tourism. I keep saying to people, oh, how did 5 cruise ships arrive in Santorini? I was doing training yesterday at the Al-Emran hotel next door, and the front office manager said, oh, if I've got 150 people arriving, we've got a big problem in the reception. Naturally, right? I said, these people do not arrive like out of the blue, especially if you're an island. They fly in. So you know that they left Finland 5 hours ago. You have estimated time of arrival, airport, 45 minutes, 1 hour to get suitcases, 30 minutes transport. You know exactly when they're going to come and how many they are. They've made the reservation. If you're intercontinental in London, it's a little bit more complicated because it's individuals, right? Anyway, so it's a complex system. The level of complexity is really bad. Now I'm going to talk about what I'm supposed to talk about.
With this Mykonos.
Questions I'll take at the end and later. In Mykonos is very interesting because, very interesting. Mykonos, Santorini are case studies in Greece that they are very, very peculiar because of the different kind of power structures, who is controlling what. So coincidentally, I went to a research meeting on Tuesday on Interreg that they were talking about Akamas in Cyprus, and they were talking about Balos in Crete. And I ended up explaining exactly the power structure and who is responsible for what for sustainability. It's very, very complicated. Okay, let me talk about things that I know better with smartness and smart things. This is one of my heroes, creativity is just about connecting things. Simple, isn't it? Have a look on this computer. It's the first Apple, the first Mac. Have a look on this computer. This is 1987, the University of the Aegea, first batch of students. This didn't have a hard disk. I bought an external floppy disk drive. Now my students do not know what's a floppy disk. This was my friend George. He had a laptop with 20 megabyte hard disk in there. So we've been developing technology ever since then to look into where we're going. When you're looking at the vision, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, by 2030 the industry should be smart, it should be agile, we need to be understanding everything, we need to be proactive and reactive, and we need to bring all the stakeholders on a dialogue, and we need to innovate and inspire co-creation of value. It needs to drive connectivity and agility. It needs to be globally aware and focused. It needs to be adaptive and reactive. So this is the big thing, the big vision. We just published a paper on 2030. We've got several papers that are coming out on 2030, but I didn't have the time to do them yet. Smartness is not about technology. Smartness is about networks, optimization of networks. Technology is playing a role, but smartness is not about technology. It takes advantage of interconnectivity, interoperability, of integrated technologies, in order to integrate process and data. We re-engineer the way that we're doing things, and we make sure that this re-engineering is shaping products, services, and value in real time for all the stakeholders. If stakeholders do not get value, what happens? They complain. If it's really getting worse, what happens? They start creating damage. They break things. They say, you cannot come to my place. You have the Barcelona effect. Please don't go to Barcelona, they don't want you, right? Go to Greece. Go to Cyprus, they want you much more. In Barcelona, they don't like tourists anymore. It used to be Cambridge only, because they've got other things that they're doing. So don't go to Barcelona, go to Athens, go to Kalamata, go to nice places. What makes a destination clever and smart? It's all about the networks. It's all about bringing the interoperability and the interconnectivity of all the networks, using the Internet of Things and the Internet of Everything. You are collecting data using sensors. You are broadcasting data using beacons. You've got big data and data analytics. My big thing is, how do you analyze big data in real time? Because most of the tourism statistics, they analyze 2 months later, 3 months later, 3 years later, they create a report. I'm not a historian. I don't want to know what happened in 2005, right? Useful, but I really want to know what's going to happen in the next 3 months. Should my prices go up or down? Should they build more places or not? Should they employ more people or not? Okay, so that's a smart thing. It's really understanding what's happening in real time and support co-creation of experience in real time. You want the previous one?
No.
Oh, you okay? Customization, okay. Okay, this is what we call SOCOMO, and SOCOMO is social media context-based mobile, because what's happening is that everybody is part of the content generation. You're uploading, you're taking pictures, you're uploading, you're sharing with your networks, you're saying Buhalis is fantastic, incredibly wonderful, and you're saying, please read this publication so you can understand what SOCOMO is all about. What's happening is that people are going to the marketplace and they're using their mobiles, they're using all the networks to communicate and co-create value. And they are supporting the value of other people as going along. We've got internal context, that is you as a customer, your preference, your needs, your requirements, your tasks, your abilities, your disabilities, the things that you like to do, the whiskey you'd like to try, the music you like to listen, all these things are internal stuff. And then you've got external things. Things like the weather, social environment, season, political situation, traffic, emergencies, delays, air pressure, light, COVID, all of those things are things that you do not control. So if you're in Paphos and it's 26 degrees in the evening, you go outdoor and you have a fantastic time and you're listening to nice music and you're trying to find local drink, but you end up drinking whiskey from Ireland. They're nice people, okay? If you're in Rovaniemi, you're doing very different things because all this context is very different, okay? So, Sokomo means that you're looking to the context and you're creating different things based on the context. You've got different layers. You've got the physical layer, and the physical layer is what we have, the environment. You've got the data layer. You've got the technical layer. You've got the business layer, and then you've got the experience layer, and this is where you're creating value. So all of these things need to be operating together to co-create and co-destruct personal experience through smart tourism. You really need to understand what everything is happening at the same time at the different layers. Now, you may have fantastic physical layer, but if you don't have the technical layer to support it, that doesn't happen. If you don't have the business layer to support all these things, it doesn't work. So that pyramid is telling you that all of those things need to be coordinated and operate together. Smartness, I said, is not about technology. Technology is one element. Human capital, social capital, innovation, and governance. Really, really important in terms of how you're doing smartness. And you can see here that smartness is about bring the smart city and the smart destination, bring the 6 A's of tourism, tourism competitiveness, and tourism experience. And the pillars for doing this is leadership, human capital, entrepreneurship, innovation, social capital. So for smartness to operate, you need all of these things to work together. If one of them does not work, smartness is not going to be optimized. Okay? So obviously I'm telling you a very condensed kind of value because each of that I can talk for a long time. Each of them is a paper that we work for months to bring the research out. Now, what we find now is that people, when they're traveling, they're not traveling to explore the area, but they're still connected. They're still speaking to their friends are telling them things. The extreme thing now in China is streaming. I'm having a camera here and I'm streaming, hello map, this is what I'm doing. And now I've got a PhD student, Kaiti, who is looking to the impact of the streaming process to the experience of the streamer. So if I'm streaming, do I have the same behavior if I'm not streaming? So if I'm going to Kalamata and someone says, go to Pandey, you are there, Pandey is around the corner. Don't forget to have a look at the coffee place in the corner and then there's souvlaki or gurnopula that's happening around the corner, right? So what's happening is that my behavior is influenced because I'm streaming and I'm getting feedback back from people around. And this research that we're doing currently. But what you see is that there is a face-to-face social contact when things are happening, and then there's online social contact that's happening online. So the tourism experience is the combination of the two things. For those of you who are doing PhDs or thinking about PhDs, it's really complicated, very, very interesting, and it's really changing everything we're doing in tourism. Because we used to think that whoever I've got in front of me is my customer. In fact, there are a lot of other things as well. If you buy me a drink, I'll talk to you about Hawaii and what happened when I went to the Hawaii 5.0 experience. And the other concept is nowness. And nowness is about what's happening now and how do I take advantage of nowness in real time. Understand what's happening in real time and create competitive advantage. Now, for those of you who are doing strategic management marketing, you know that competitive advantage is coming out of price, it is cheaper, or differentiation. It's very different, fit your needs, your requirements better, and you're prepared to pay more. My argument is that the next one is time, and the instant gratification. People will pay more, and people will not find the most unique and the best fitting, provided you give them an answer at this particular moment, instant gratification. So you're not gonna, when you get out of here, you're probably gonna have about 2 or 3 hours to go to the seafront and swim. You're not gonna find the cheapest way to go there, or the one that is going to be the nicest one. Because the nicest one from here takes about half an hour to get there, and half an hour to come back. So what you'll do is you'll compromise for time, instant gratification. Again, have a look on this paper, we're saying all of these things. So smartness is really about bringing technology, people, and leadership. Leadership is the most important one, actually, more than technology. To bring together economic actors, social actors, and technological actors to create innovations. And all of these innovations are coming together in the tourism field to provide value for different customers. So what you do is you need to bring leadership to bring the co-creation of value between the actors in order to bring value for them. And the last thing I'm going to say about smartness is this research that we're doing with Alicia, that's her PhD, that we're looking into what's happening at the destination and what the smart systems that are based on leadership, human capital, social capital, innovation, technology, import to the destination so you can manage destination management organizations in much better ways. So when things are happening, you've got real-time triggers, something that's happening, and then all of these things are creating data waves that they're creating data infrastructure. You analyze these things in real time. You've got real-time sharing, co-creation, experience optimization, customer focus, and based on that you make real-time decisions. Again, have a look on that. That's Alicia is finishing a PhD in Jamaica, doing that with me right now. So, the future. All of those things I'm saying, when I'm saying to people, they say, it's going to happen one day. I said, it has happened in the last 10 years. If you missed it, I'm sorry about that, but it was there already, right? So where I'm looking towards 2030 to 2040 is what we call the future proofing of tourism. What's going to happen in the future, in tourism in the future? And I guess that when I finish, a lot of people will kind of say, oh my God, I don't believe this. This is going there. Take it from me, it's going there. When it's going to reach there, I do not know. I'm very good at predicting the future. I'm very bad at predicting when the future is going to reach you. But this is real. So, ambient intelligence, smart cities and smart tourism, artificial intelligence and ChatGPT. You've seen a lot of these things currently. Robots, bots, autonomous vehicles and drones, hybrid living, traveling in the metaverse. The more you go north, you experience these things already, and the more you go west. The more you go east or south, you experience much less, with the exception of Korea and Japan, that they are super advanced on these things. So I'm an old guy. The first machine I used to operate in Kos Island was a telex with a tape. We were typing, the telex was producing the tape, and then we're feeding the tape so the telex could go on the other side. I remember vividly in '87 receiving my first fax. Oh my God, someone can put a piece of paper in Munich and arrives in Kos Island. Revolution, right? So this is the timeline of how things have come over the years. A lot of things are fairly new, and therefore a lot of people are not familiar with the developments and how fast these developments are happening. And you can see how AI is changing dramatically and rapidly, and it's exponentially, and that makes a lot of difference. So ambient intelligence means that the systems disappear, you don't know where the systems are, but you use them and you operate them in a way that they are managing to create value for you, like what you have got now. You've all traveled from different places, you've got multiple devices, they're all connected, you have no idea where they're connected at, but you're taking the benefit of the connectivity. So what we have is the customer right in the middle, customer centricity. Then you've got all the technology, Internet of Things, Internet of Everything, 5G, RFID, mobile devices, APIs, cryptocurrency, sensors and beacons, pervasive computing, gamification, artificial intelligence, machine learning. All of those things are creating value. They all work with each other. The machine learning knows your behavior, understands what's happening, and then creates predictive behavior and says, oh, if Irene is going to this place, she will probably like those places based on her behavior before. Therefore, I'm going to eliminate things that you do not like. If I was a wheelchair user, I would probably, I don't know if there's an elevator here, but I would have looked into, can I get into this room with my wheelchair? And all of those things would have, the machine will proactively customize things for you. Now, where it's becoming much more tricky is artificial intelligence. You'll hear a lot of this, definitions about artificial intelligence, but ultimately, AI is about machines that they think and they decide. This is what it is, okay? So, they're doing a lot of things. So we're doing a big project with about 40 people around the world, and we've published the first one. So what if ChatGPT has written it, and we're looking to what is the impact of ChatGPT and what it's supposed to do and what's going to happen. So OpenAI, it just released GPT about 2 or 3 months ago. It's multimodal. It passes basically every exam with flying colors. So it has got more knowledge than your doctor, than your lawyer, than your accountant, with more knowledge from your professor. Oh my God, am I unemployed now? It definitely does better exam papers and assignments than some of my students. Has advanced reasoning capabilities, will resolve different problems with mind-blowing accuracy. So the world is changing dramatically. Whether you like it or not, that's a big debate, but it's changing, that I can guarantee you. We start from GPT-3, now we're going to GPT-4 with different kind of things, images, text, video, audio, all the kind of social media content generated that's created. So they asked me to look into what's going to happen to tourism because of this. And I look at it, the demand supply. This is the table that appears on the paper. And recently I did a little bit more research, so I've expanded a little bit on this. So you've got, on the demand side, people will be looking for all kinds of information. They'll be searching for information. Then they'll be building itineraries based on the information that they did. The machine will be assessing alternatives. They'll be using all kinds of content to come in and will combine a huge range of different resources and provide a comprehensive text answers, quick, accurate information in natural language, because you are talking to the machine and the machine is talking back to you, and in your own native language, whatever it may be, maybe Japanese, Korean, Cypriot, Greek, whatever, okay? So the machine will understand your native language and will talk to you back on that language. From a supply side, it enables us to co-create value and by creating networks, to assist with bookings and reservations, provide information to guests, because guests and tourists are constantly asking for information, personalize recommendations, create itineraries, evaluate alternatives, communicate with travelers in multiple languages, generate marketing content, menu engineering. You say, this is a menu, how can I make it on a Pirates of the Caribbean theme? Zoom, it's changing everything, gives that to you. Who would like to see some examples of this? Can you stomach it? Kalamata? When I say do you know what Kalamata is? Who doesn't know? Can you call security, please? Okay, Kalamata is in the south of Greece. This is where my parents are coming from. These two guys are coming from there, and we're promoting it. You have all eaten Kalamata olives, for good's sake, yeah? If you don't, you're missing out in life. This is called the Greek caviar. It's a beautiful place by the sea. It's wonderful. And you have no idea where it is. And you are tourist professors, right? Something is wrong somewhere. AI says you are fired. Now, I asked the two alternatives that we've got currently to search for information. Google, and the question was, what can tourists with kids do in Kalamata? What Google does, it gives you a range of different links based on search of keywords or key phrases. So what Google is doing, it says, go to this address, and good luck, find out what information you like to do. Good luck, mate, right? This is what ChatGPT is doing at no time. Visit Kalamata Castle, walk along the promenade, explore the Olive Museum, visit the municipal park, take a day trip to the beach. Kalamata is located near several beautiful beaches, Lecto, Verga, Agios, Andreas. Enjoy the local cuisine. Have seafood, local cheese, olives, and the kids will love it. From this information, go and find out what's going on. To this information, have an itinerary on me made. Now, I know Kalamata fairly well, but if I talk about Rovaniemi, Jyväskylä, other places, you wouldn't. Okay, and I wouldn't. So what's going to happen is that ChatGPT and those kind of technologies are going to bring that to us. So I asked for some more information. How do I go from Bournemouth to Glasgow in March, and what is the cost? It gave me all the different options. It calculated the cost, all of these things at no time. I'm a blind tourist. What do I do in Paris? It customized the itinerary for blind friendly. Please suggest Greek gluten-free food. It gave me a list of Greek gluten-free food. Before anybody tells me, but is it accurate? I said, if you've got a kid that's 2 months old or 2 years old, do they give you accurate information? No. But this kid is growing very fast. So in a year's time, this kid is going to be 20 years old. In a year's time, it will be 50 years old. So the knowledge base will be much more. And based on your knowledge of Kalamata here, obviously this kid is doing a much better job than you do. Okay, so I proved my point. Thank you. As I said, I'm working in Riyadh currently with the Saudi Arabia government. I've never been to Riyadh before, so I was asking, what can I do for 4 days in Riyadh? This is the Google information. Then I asked ChatGPT, it structured it for me, all that in seconds, right? To do what exactly to do. Then I said, what about if I'm a disabled person in a wheelchair? Again, that gave me a very different itinerary from that, based on my disability. Sorry, I know I'm running a little bit late. Then I asked what the tourism attractions are, the history and the culture, and then I said, where can I have some Arabic food? So this is Microsoft Bing, and it gave me recipes, it gave me all kind of things. When you're going to images, this is developing right now. There's a good friend that's called Christos Ditoras, who works for Costa Navarino right now, part of the tennis. And Christos is playing around for Parga because he's coming from Parga. These are images ChatGPT developed for Parga for him. This is neoclassical buildings. How would Parga be if it had neoclassical buildings? And this is how Parga will be if it was in outer space. So the images that you create at no time are amazing. The images are not always right. This is Mr. Trump running away and being arrested, all fake. So we really need to find out how we can understand what is real and what's not real. This is a friend of mine called Lee Mallon. He's working in digital space. So he spent about 7 hours to create a new concept for a hotel that's nearby volcanoes. He developed 5 unique hotels, designed, without being an architect, without being a designer. 27 pages brochure, unbelievable visuals, and something that that would have taken months or years to actually create as a concept. So a lot of these things are happening already using artificial intelligence. It is going to be crazy. Remember, I told you so. Metaverse, we're going towards what we call hybrid living. We'll be living digitally, we'll be living physically. And what's going to happen is that you're going to use some of these machines to transport yourself to whatever environment you really like to be, virtual. You'll collect information, so this is the progression from different technologies. And you're going to use mixed reality, virtual reality and augmented reality at the same time. And I'm not going to play the video, so we don't have the time, but the important thing is before, during, after. You'll be using Metaverse to select places. Is Mallorca for me? Which hotel? Should I go to Arenal or in Caldea? During, you'll be looking to different things using artificial AR, artificial reality, to actually enhance your experience. And after, you'll be collecting information and visuals like what we used to do with pictures, and then you'll be recalling those and you'll be sharing those. We're working currently with the Center of Dementia in Bournemouth University to see if we can use this to wake up the memory of people and slow down the decay of people with dementia and Alzheimer's. So we start looking into this as a project. Very, very fascinating kind of thing. So before, during, after, I don't have the time to explain all that. Please have a look at the publications. But what's happening is that a new ecosystem is coming forward, where the consumer is going to come forward and they'll be using Metaverse before, during, and after. And the suppliers, the destinations, and the public sector need to create the content to support this. And also the community and the peers that will be much more involved. So the people that you know, people that you travel with, or friends and relatives, travel experts, whether they are influencers, professionals, other travelers, or local people. So this becomes a co-creation space on a digital twin to change the whole tourism experience. Again, I don't have time to show you some of these things. There's an interesting metaverse in Bali. How do you experience Bali, where people are traveling and they're giving you all of that. So we're going to different experience where you'll be experiencing things before you're going there. And then metaverse conferences. For the time being, we've got Zoom. We've got some people hopefully listening to us up there, but that will become much more hybrid in a way that will operate. Some people will be here, some people will be there. But the difference with the metaverse is, I don't believe what people are talking about metaverse right now, you're going to have an avatar and go away and meet Irini's avatar. I have no interest of my avatar meeting Irini's avatar. But technology will become that we'll have a meeting with Irini, whether we're physically in the same location, a meter apart, or whether we are thousands of meters apart. This is where it's gonna get there. A lot of these things are coming from the military. A lot of these things are coming from medical things. Obviously, in Saudi, they are developing different things. And this is something that's really, really interesting. This is in Uganda, if I remember well. And yeah, Uganda. So they're using Metaverse to train women in Uganda to empower them to become entrepreneurs and operate small units that they wouldn't obviously be able to travel them and pay for them and all the rest of it. Because the infrastructure gives you the ability to do a lot of these things very cost effectively. Final thing, and I'll fly through this, autonomous vehicles and robots. Robots will be everywhere and they'll be doing awfully a lot of things. And they'll be taking away the boring, repetitive jobs that people are doing currently. And they will allow us to have more time to actually do things. Robots will not only be anthropomorphic, they can be things like bots and Alexa and a lot of these things. We're already using a lot of these things without realizing that we're using robots. And those will be expanding in many different places. I like this because This is the robot in Hong Kong. Once you get the bubble tea, they do a little dance to say thank you that you bought my tea. I've tried that with waiters. Say, can you do a little dance? What was the guy's name last night who was bringing all the drinks? Raffaello was bringing the drinks, no dance, no, minimal interaction, right?
Well, you don't ask.
Yeah, but I didn't ask the robot. The robot did the job without asking, right? So Raffaello can learn from the robot.
Yes. Skilling and upskilling.
Upskilling. When we did a massive research around the world, global, what hotel managers do in order to adopt technology. Relative advantage, what benefits do they bring? Top management support, this is back to leadership. And the very interesting one is the second more important one was competitive pressure. If my neighbor has got a robot, I need to have a robot. So competitive pressure was one more thing. So you'll be seeing a lot of these things. So these two ladies were in Hong Kong. And this one, she did a full medical assessment in Hong Kong based on interaction. So some more devices, and I'm going to finish with this. Thank you very much. I know it took a little bit longer. We started a little bit slower, but I hope that I gave you an overview to actually look into where we're going and think about things that they'll be challenging in the future and see how we can manage those things in the future in a better way. There's only one certainty, that the uncertainty is the only certainty. And a lot of these things are going to change a lot of those things. Thank you very much. Please stay in touch. Thank you. I don't know if we've got time for questions. You can attack, you can say whatever you like. What do you think?
Check with the organizers.
Who is the organizer? We lost the organizer, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make an executive decision. 3 questions. Who would like to ask questions?
Okay. Well, if you go to augmented reality, and if the data, enriching this augmented reality, always are developing and are augmented, does it mean that we will probably reach to a stage whereby there is no need to travel?
That's a common question I hear a lot of time. So it's the replacement effect. Would I replace virtual with real?
Yes.
Real with virtual?
Because a lot of people already do that.
Yes. The answer to me is no. In fact, because you have been exposed and you have seen Hawaii many times and you have seen the virtual thing and things, you are more empowered and you are more, you have a bigger urgency to travel. However, if you don't have the resources, the money, if you are not capable, if you're disabled, then you are not able to travel. If you, for some reason, you cannot do it, a lot of people will be replacing if they cannot do the real thing. If they can do the real thing, I think the virtual will promote the real.
Or if they don't feel comfortable to do it, maybe familiarize themselves.
The level of comfort, so when you are having something on a virtual, let's say you like to go to China and you don't speak Chinese, you don't know Chinese habits, you do not know Chinese food. The more you engage virtually from the safety of your home, the more familiar you become with this environment and the more comfortable you are to then go to what we call the hostile environment at the destination to actually experience the real thing. Question 2.
Follow-up question. I was thinking before when you were talking about the various tools of technology that we can apply to augment the experience of the traveler or the visitor. I was thinking about the challenges that the hospitality industry is going to face in ensuring that the experience that they are promising through technology is going to match the actual experience of the traveler when they visit.
Absolutely.
So there's a challenge to ensure that, because at that point, all the promises made through technology by the competitors also bump up the expectations of the buyers.
Absolutely.
The moment this is done, the challenge is massive for the hospitality supplier.
So you're right.
Now what do we do? What do we do there? What is your advice for those companies?
You are right on saying that this is a challenge. You are wrong to assume that this is it's a new challenge.
No, it's not a new challenge. It's just
It has been a challenge all my life because we are promising something. We don't have the staff. We're trying to find the staff to recruit them for the season. And you are trying, next door on the Al-Emran I'm working very closely with, they've got 400 employees. And out of the 400 employees, 300 started 3 months ago, 2 months ago. And all of these 300 employees were the challenge to have one common value and to deliver. So there's nothing new on this. In fact, the machine will be much more consistent than the human because the human is inconsistent. It's not going to break down, it's going to speak your language and understand things. It's going to learn using machine learning. And it's going to be more efficient in operating. What the machine cannot do is emotional intelligence. When I see you as a customer, when I see you last night, when I see you this morning, as a tourism, travel, hospitality professional, I know exactly what you need, even if you do not know yourself. Because most of the travelers, most of the people, they do not know what they want. So I'm packaging the thing based on my experience and based on, people are telling me, I'd like to do this. And I said, no, you don't want to do this. Because what's going to happen is that and that and that. What you really want to do is this. And I said, how do you know? I said, that's what we do.
What is your advice for those companies that are going to be, let's say, bulldozed over by their own eagerness to overpromise?
First of all, I always advise people to under-promise and over-deliver. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is to engage and learn from the experience. We learn as the machine is learning at the same time. Okay. So nobody knows right now the amount of stuff that they hear about things that people don't know about it, and yet they feel obliged to talk about these things. It's phenomenal. So go slow, but get engaged. Get in, understand what's going on, because it's not going to go away. Now, I'm an old guy that I remember that people expected the fax to go away. Then the internet came along, and they say, oh no, technology is going to go away. I'm going to go to my old ways. It never did. It was going to go like this. So the better we learn, the faster we learn, the more clever the ways we do, the more that we're going to take advantage of the tools. And people are telling me, but artificial intelligence is really bad and it's going to kill people and that and the other. And I said, okay, my mother used to go to work by donkey. And donkey was quite effective to go to Romiri and collect grapes and all the rest of it. Then there's a tractor. Then there was a car. And yes, people have been killed by the car and but we need to learn how to use the tools. Third question, I made an executive decision to take 3 questions, okay. Third question. Okay, I'll take 2. Okay, I made an executive decision to contradict myself and take 2.
Right, before we take the last 2 questions, I think what we should do is just disconnect from the virtual participants so they can get going with their presentations, and we'll run for a couple more questions in here. Is that okay?
Goodbye, virtual participants. Bye-bye. Nice to meet you. They are gone. Goodbye. Okay.
So there's 2 parts to my question. So that's a 5th question.
Okay, keep going. Let me do the procedure.
The first one is my experience. I've been to Kalamata. I read my Mythos book in the cafe on the beach called Mythos Cafe.
Drinking Mythos beer.
Mythos beer.
Perfect.
That's one part.
Leave your myth in Greece. I'll introduce you to Mr. Avramopoulos, yes.
The World Economic Forum
Yeah.
have stated that empathy will be more important than artificial intelligence.
Absolutely no.
In the jobs of the future.
Yes, no.
How do you apply that statement to tourism?
Yes and no, I disagree with that. I think it's AI plus, and the empathy is coming on the plus. It's not that we're not going to do this and we're going to do this. We're going to do that anyway, but to get you to the best effective way to Mythos in Kalamata, to the Mythos Cafe, to have Mythos book, Mythos beer, will make that efficient for you to arrive there and have a very good experience. Okay, and the empathy is the mythos waiter or waitress coming along and understand that you are different than her, different than him, and give you the thing that you would like more. Because the machine may know something about it, but if I had your profile on Facebook, on Instagram, I would know more or less what kind of customer you are and what kind of thing you are looking for, versus her, versus him. And I would have tailor-made the experience more than others. So as a tourism professional, I've taken very rich people to bakeries, very old bakeries, because I've realized that nobody who is super rich can be impressed by a better breakfast. They have the best breakfast from the world. There's nothing I can do. So what I did is I took them back to the bakery at 6 o'clock in the morning. I asked the baker to bring me fresh baked bread with a towel, so they don't, because tourists are not very clever, so they don't burn their hands. Olive oil, feta cheese, tomato, and Greek coffee in the dirty place of the bakery. And I said, let's do something that you have never done before. The cheapest, the simplest. They were saying, thank you so much, this is the best experience I ever had. But you need to understand, so it's not either or, it's that plus that and plus that. Second question?
Thank you, Dimitrios. My question is twofold, actually.
Here you go again. Yeah,
no,
okay.
No.
Okay.
I want your estimation. Do we have in our industry the human resources to support this?
No.
New? And the second question is, are you estimating that we are going to have problems or consequences to the employees in the tourism hospitality industry?
Of course.
Which
So
direction?
the first thing is, do we have the skills in tourism hospitality? Most of the people who are studying or they are working in the tourism hospitality are not technically minded. In fact, they are not the most clever people in the world. They are empathetic people. If they are clever, they wouldn't work in this industry. They would work in other industries with much better return and all the rest of it. The reason why we work in tourism is because we like people. We like to meet people. We do crazy things. We work until 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. If your flight is delayed, I'll be waiting for you to get you to your room so you're comfortable. There's no return on investment for doing this. Okay? So, they don't have the skills for that. So who is going to do it? Those who have the skills. So Google, Amazon, Booking.com, Netflix. I'm super impressed with Netflix in terms of usability. All the companies I told you, they are super usable. They give you a best company experience. You buy something on Amazon, you haven't realized that you bought it. Yeah? So what's going to happen is that those people who are technically minded, they'll be using all these tools to get to you, to get to the mythos. Because we really want you to go to Mythos Cafe and have the Mythos book with the Mythos beer. But to get you there, in the old ways, there were so many barriers. So what's going to happen is that the technical minds are going to collect data and say, Chris is like that, he is interested in this kind of experience. Then when he comes back and say, oh, if you like this experience, you may like to this experience. You're not going to go to all-inclusive and eat with 3,000 other people and kids screaming and that, and the other. In the same way, what Netflix is doing now, if you like this film, you probably like this one. And you have seen that's pretty accurate, right? Amazon, similar situation. So if you like this, and I like, and I've learned that you do, you know, on Thursdays you are watching this, so it's gonna, no. So what's gonna happen with our students? First of all, the students that are coming to our universities, and especially those of you who are academics, we're teaching people by looking at the past. You know what we're doing? And we're all guilty. We are looking at the mirror and say we have 20 years of experience doing this, and this is how we're doing it. And what's happening then is we're giving people irrelevant information because the paradigm has changed. Quite often, if you ask your students, they know better how to do things than yourselves. Because they've got different tools. So you really need to take back from your experience, understand the principles, the empathy. The empathy is the big thing. I'm just going to tell you one thing, that it's a real example that happened next door 4 years ago. Reservation is arriving and says, 2 adults, 3 kids. Okay. In your mind, in my mind, front office manager, reservation manager, you've got 2 adults, 3 kids. 1 family. But this guy kept asking a lot of questions all the time. So what was happening is that if they had a difficult customer or a difficult situation, they escalated to me just to have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to this person and say, "Hi Nick, my name is Dimitrios. You've been referred to me for special treatment. And you've been asking awfully a lot of questions, 89 in the last 6 days. What the hell is wrong with you? What's happening?" And the guy says, "You know, I really want to give a very good experience and everybody have a good fun." I said, "Tell me the context of your travel. What's happening?" He said, "My partner and I," no, he said, "We are traveling with my partner. She has never been out of the country, out of the UK. She is coming with her 2 kids and my son." Did you hear what I said? So his partner is coming with 2 kids and he is coming with his son. In fact, it was not a family coming together, it was a matchmaking of a new family traveling for the first time together. Totally different experience. The front office manager in me went in, whoa, empathy. Whoa, 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 whoa. The 2 other parents were not traveling. There are 3 kids that they don't know each other. It's a stressful time to travel on holiday, right? So I said, "Nick, I understand. I'll come back to you in 3 hours." Went back, looking at the ability in the rooms. So we suggested, I said, "Okay, look, we need to upgrade you."
Just the last question.
Hold on, let me finish. "We need to upgrade you. We'll give you a bigger room so you can have sanctuaries. Normally we will charge this amount." We gave him that amount to make sure that, so that is what, okay.
No, that's okay.
You understand?
It's common.
Just a comment. What about the aggregation program you organize? Different countries, the world, how you connect this in your decision?
It's complicated. It's really complicated. And the reason why it's complicated is that we've got very different cultures. My friend from Finland here and I you know, over many years, I understand how the Finnish friends operate. That's very different to my. To go for lunch, and he said, "How is your 6th of August? Excuse me, you asked me for lunch for a month and a half ahead. I don't know if I'll be available, I don't know if I'll be hungry on that day. Can we do today?" "Oh, no, I've got scheduled." So it's different, people operate in different ways. I'm not saying that this is better than others, but they say the machines will help us operate in these things. Sorry, I know I took awfully a lot of time, I do apologize. Hopefully you'll find that useful. If you buy me a beer, I can tell you much more.